Hi, so today I am doing my November wrap up. So this month I did not get through a lot of books. I can't even blame NaNoWriMo on not reading a lot this month because I totally failed on my challenge. I wrote like 3,000 words and didn't write any more this month, but I do kind of have a reason why I didn't read a lot, but I'll get to that later in this video. But yeah, I managed to get through 3 books this month, and I'm very pleased with the books that I read. I just wish I would have read more, but it's the story of my life. So let's get started. So the first book I finished was The Martian by Andy Weir. And I have to say, I absolutely love this book. So glad I finally got to reading it. I have not yet seen the movie. I wanted to go see it, but by the time I was finished with the book, the movie was already out of theaters, so I'm just waiting for the DVD to come out. But this book was really, really good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. And at first, I really did not enjoy the book. So I was like, why is this book so popular? I felt like the humor was forced. It was kind of boring. But as I got more into the book, I absolutely loved it. I love all the science, and I thought it was like a really interesting sneak peek into the workings of NASA, and that was really interesting, and I really wanted more of that in the book. But it was a really good book. The main character, Mark Watney, was very interesting. As I got to know the character a little better, I found his humor very fun and definitely added to the story. And I like how the book is, like, when I first came to this book, I thought it's going to be kind of like Gravity, where it's just told through this one person, and that could kind of get boring. But I like the dimension of it where we get to see what's going on back at Earth, and that was really interesting. So if you have not yet read this book, I highly recommend it. It's a great read. I recommended it to my mother, and she absolutely loved it too, so definitely pick this one up. So the second book I picked up was Zeros by Scott Westerfield, Margot Lanigan, and Deborah Biancotti. And this book was also a really great read. It was so enjoyable and I loved it. And I have a review on it, so I'll put that link down below so you guys can check it out. But this book I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It was just a very fun read. I liked all the characters, and I thought it was really great, and I can't wait to see what the next book is about. And yeah, I just thought it was good, and it was a very quick read. Like, this book is pretty thick. I think it's like 600, maybe 700 pages. Maybe not even that much. Okay, yeah, it's only like 550 pages, but it went really quickly. Like, I got through this book in about 2 days, so it was a really simple, easy read and enjoyable. So definitely pick this one up if you have not already. And the last book I read for the month of November was Find Me by Laura Vandenberg. And this book I had really high hopes for because I love Laura Vandenberg's writing in her short story collection, The Isle of Youth, and I was hoping this would be similar. And I was kind of disappointed. Not by her writing. Her writing was very beautiful in this book, and I absolutely loved all the descriptions, how she told the story. It was beautiful. But the plot was really lacking for me. Like, it kind of didn't really go anywhere. The premise was interesting, but the story just did not go anywhere for me. It was very weird, which I expected from her because her works are very strange and almost kind of surreal in a way, but this was almost too weird to the point where I didn't get it, and I was kind of disappointed. I believe I gave this one 3 stars because the writing was pure magic. It was beautiful, but the plot just did not do it for me. I mean, you might enjoy it. I would recommend checking out Laura Vandenberg's work because I think she's a really great writer, but I just did not find Me one of her good ones. But yeah, this is the last book that I read. And I also want to mention the book Uprooted by Naomi Novik because I started this book in November and I have not yet finished it. And the last book I want to mention, which I started reading in November, was Uprooted by Naomi Novik. And I have not finished it, and I don't plan to, at least not in the near future. This book I had really high hopes for too, and I thought it was going to be really great. I mean, this mainly was a cover buy for me because, I mean, the cover is absolutely gorgeous. I love the gold, like, embellishments. It was just a really beautiful cover. But the story was very slow, and there was just a lot of like different things going on, and I didn't know what direction this book was going in, and I haven't finished it. I've gotten like halfway through, and it's really putting me in this reading slump. So I'm like, let me just put this book down and pick up something else, because I just was not interested in this book. And it really is disappointing actually for me, because I really wanted to like this book. I've heard so much good reviews about it. I love that it's kind of like this epic fantasy and a standalone novel, which you really rarely find these days. But the story is just really slow. Like, you don't really get what the plot is about until you're about 200 pages into the book, and it's just, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I know a lot of people enjoyed this book, and I know I'm probably going to upset a lot of people that I did not enjoy this book, but I mean, eventually I will come back to this one, but probably not in the near future. So I just wanted to include this just because, you know, it was something I started in November but will not be finishing. So yeah, those are all the books that I read this month or started reading this month and I'm not going to finish. And yeah, and now I'm just gonna tell you guys what I'm gonna plan on reading for December. The first book, and I have already started it, it's the next book that I picked up after leaving Uprooted, and that is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, this book is absolutely amazing. I'm already like halfway through the pages already, and it's so inspirational. I have like a love-hate relationship with autobiographies and like self-help books kind of like this, because I love learning like what authors or other artists do to get inspiration and how they survive in a world that doesn't really take creativity seriously. But it's also like a lot of the times they tell you things, but it's hard to implement those things in your life, or because there's many different ways you can be successful and become creative. So it's like you get inspired for a little bit, but you're kind of lost at what to do next after we finish the book. But this one I've loved, and I've already implemented some of her tips and everything in it, and it's just very inspirational, and I think it's a very realistic version of what being creative is and how you can implement it in your life. This is a really amazing book. I plan to do a review on it, and I can't wait to finish it. So Christmas is coming up, and I wanted to read some holiday inspired books. So the first one I wanted to read was Christmas Bliss by Mary Kate Andrews, and this book is actually signed. She visited us in our class when I was in college, and my friend bought me the book and got me a signed copy, so that's really nice. She was a really inspiring person, and I was really intrigued by how like she started off as a journalist and then started writing more fiction, and I was interested in how she went from writing something so like strict and in the facts, and how you go from that point in your career into writing fiction. So it was really great to meet her, and I really want to read this book this month so I can finally, I've never actually read anything of hers, so I can finally say I've read some Mary Kay Andrews. The next book I want to read is My True Love Gave to Me 12 Holiday Stories, edited by Stephanie Perkins. And I've already read the first story, so I'm trying to read 2 stories a week so I can kind of get through this book in the month of December while I'm reading some of the other books that I've read. And so far, I'm kind of happy. I don't know. I wasn't really into the first story, but it's just the first one, so we'll see how this one goes. I hope it gives me some holiday cheer this month. I have a pretty ambitious December book haul because I will be taking a week off for the holidays, and I thought, why not give His Dark Materials a try again? I actually read the first book a while back, The Golden Compass, and I never actually finished the series, so I definitely want to give this book a try. And I feel like it's a very wintry kind of book. It's kind of depressing in a way. I mean, the ending of the first book was pretty sad, but I feel like it's, I don't know, it just reminds me of winter, so I thought I'd pick it up, and I love this cover, so yeah. And I also want to read The Glass Sentence by Essie Grove. And this book, don't know much about it. All I know is that there's a girl that she writes maps, I believe. And this one kind of just reminded me of the holidays. Don't really know why, and I've always wanted to get to this one. So I figured if I have time, I will read this one this month too. So that's it. Those are the books that I read for November and the books I hope to read this month. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what books you plan to read this month in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Alright guys, I'll see you next week. Bye! Today we're going to do a little something different. Got my cup of water. It's just water, but look at how cute this cup is. It's actually Saturday, but hey.